Let's bring in Marco Vicenzino, who's a geopolitical risk specialist and a global strategy advisor, joins us now from London. Marco, good to see you again. Undoubtedly, an added factor in all of this are these rich reserves of rare earth minerals. Is this a card, do you think, that Ukraine can play to its advantage?
It has to. It has. If it wants more support from the Americans, but specifically from President Donald Trump. Once again, we've spoken in the past how about his approach to geopolitics, to politics at home, is very transactional. If he's going to give something, if he's going to provide security guarantees, he wants something in return. So yes, I can expect the president to drive a deal in terms of a longer-term deal with the Ukrainians, and critical earth minerals will be a very essential part of that.
Okay, that's some way down the line to a degree. Meanwhile, we have this meeting in Riyadh, which is also a high-stakes affair, and it's got implications right across Europe.
Yes, the meeting in Riyadh is basically, it's the beginning of a process. It's going to be a rather long process. But there's Ukraine is at the top, the ceasefire, ending this war, but the key thing is getting a ceasefire. That's not a peace treaty. And even if you get a ceasefire, the hot stage of the conflict is to be able to end that. That's the primary thing. But also in Riyadh, there's also a longer-term approach of kind of restoring U.S. Russian ties for the longer term. So first is breaking the ice diplomatically between the new Secretary of State, establishing the parameters for the next steps. Eventually, they're talking about a direct meeting between President Trump and President Putin. That's nothing that cannot be done overnight. There's a lot of details involved. So they'll be working that out over the coming days and weeks as we move towards that potential summit. And then also, you looking at the European side. Basically, for the Europeans, it's been quite a few days now that finally they've woken up to the reality that Donald Trump is pushing this process, is accelerating the process to achieve a ceasefire in Ukraine. So at the present time, they're struggling. There was an emergency meeting in Paris held by President Macron. 7 countries attended. Out of those 7, you're looking primarily French, obviously the host, the UK. You had Germany, Poland, Denmark, Spain, Italy, Netherlands. Out of those, they agreed on one thing, and the primary thing they agreed on is that they all need to increase their military budgets. But the thing that they have not agreed on, and what the President Trump has been asking for, President Trump is asking the Europeans for concrete, firm commitments, specifically troops for the peacekeeping, right, if a ceasefire is achieved. And that they disagree. Germany, Spain, Italy, and Poland expressed reservations. The UK is willing to commit. Yeah. And that's something that they need to agree on.
Much to be thrashed out there. But President Zelensky, key person in all of this, the position of Ukraine. And of course, he's not in Riyadh, but he is pursuing his own channels. He's in Turkey.
Yes, he's trying to get as much support from as many quarters as possible. Throughout the entire conflict, Turkey has played a very, very important role. Early stages and talks, exchange of prisoners. There's many, many elements on which the Turks have played a critical role since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. But even before that, when the previous decade, they've always played a role in trying to bring sides together. And it's also not just for Ukraine. They're also looking at other parts of the world. Turkey wants to play an important role diplomatically in many parts of the world, whether it's in Africa, obviously their borders with Syria and the broader Middle East. But to their north, that conflict plays an important role for them diplomatically, economically, and many different ways. Turkey wants to reestablish itself as a key player. And looking in historic terms, it's in the process. It has been for several years now. But the Ukraine conflict presents Turkey with another opportunity to grow diplomatically and to carve itself out as an important position in the new world order that's been developing in recent years.
Appreciate your perspective, Marco. Thanks for that, Marco Vicenzino, speaking to us there from London.
Thank you.